Hollywood, the land of dreams, glamour, and opportunity. But beneath the surface of the silver screen lies a much darker truth. One of the most haunting examples of that darkness is the unsolved murder of Elizabeth Short, a young woman whose life was tragically cut short in one of the most gruesome and puzzling crimes in American history. This is the story of the Black Dahlia. Elizabeth Short was just 22 years old when her name became forever linked to infamy. Born in 1924 in Massachusetts, Elizabeth had dreams much bigger than her small-town roots. Like many young women of her time, she was drawn to Hollywood by the allure of stardom and a chance at a better life. She bounced around between cities and friends, taking on waitressing jobs, modeling gigs, and trying to find her place in a city that promised everything and delivered little. She became known to some as the Black Dahlia, a nickname inspired by her dark hair, choice of black clothing, and the film noir playing in theaters at the time, The Blue Dahlia. But whatever mystery the name evoked, it would soon be overshadowed by the shocking reality of her death. On the morning of January 15, 1947, a woman walking with her young daughter through a vacant lot in the Leimert Park area of Los Angeles stumbled upon what she thought was a broken mannequin. But as she got closer, she realized it was something far more horrifying, the naked body of a young woman, severed completely at the waist. The body had been carefully washed, drained of blood, and posed in a grotesque, theatrical way. The killer had sliced Elizabeth's mouth from ear to ear, creating what's known as a Glasgow smile. Her internal organs were removed, and pieces of her flesh were mutilated. The killer had taken time. This wasn't a frenzied attack. It was calculated, precise, ritualistic. The LAPD launched one of the largest investigations in its history. Over 150 suspects were initially questioned, and in the years that followed, hundreds more would come under suspicion. The media frenzy around the case was immediate and intense. Newspapers sensationalized every detail, often blurring the lines between fact and fiction. Elizabeth's personal life was scrutinized and often distorted. She was painted as a party girl, a drifter, even a seductress, all in the name of selling papers. Meanwhile, taunting letters began arriving at police stations and newspaper offices, allegedly from the killer. One even included Elizabeth's birth certificate, personal photos, and an address book. Still, despite the press attention and the flood of tips, no solid leads emerged. One of the most compelling suspects came decades later, George Hodel, a wealthy and well-connected physician who lived in Los Angeles at the time of the murder. His own son, Steve Hodel, a former LAPD homicide detective, accused him of being the Black Dahlia killer. He presented old family photos, journal entries, and even transcripts from FBI surveillance that seemed to suggest George had not only the means, but the motive and mindset to commit the crime. Steve's theory was chilling, that his father had killed Elizabeth Short in their own home, possibly even in the basement, which had the privacy and space for such a crime. But despite this explosive accusation, George Hodel was never officially charged. Like every other suspect in the case, the evidence wasn't enough. Over the years, other theories have emerged, some pointing to mob connections, corrupt police officers, or even artists with a twisted taste for murder. But none of these theories have ever been definitively proven. What makes the Black Dahlia case so chilling isn't just the brutality of the crime. It's the mystery, the unanswered questions, the feeling that justice was never served. Elizabeth Short's murder became legend, inspiring movies, books, documentaries, and decades of speculation. But behind the mystery was a real person. A young woman with dreams and flaws like anyone else. A victim whose story was buried under scandal, myth, and media hysteria. To this day, the murder of Elizabeth Short remains one of the most famous unsolved cases in American history. And unless new evidence comes to light, we may never truly know who killed the Black Dahlia, or why. If you found this story as haunting as we did, be sure to subscribe and let us know what you think in the comments. Do you believe the case can ever be solved? Or is the truth destined to remain hidden forever?